And this is where, or they want it to be. And this is where we have this runaway legal system where there are rules after rules after rules, and they defy common sense, they defy reason, but they go far beyond oftentimes what the law was intended to do. The Bureau of Land Management's a good example. I think a lot of their muscle that they're flexing is because of regulatory power, not legislative power.
Right, and this is what I can say that, as legislators, we do not, fortunately or unfortunately, whichever side you're on, we do not want to micromanage the education system in the state or the other agencies of the state. We set the guidelines for them, and then they set the rules and regulations, and those regulations usually have to be approved by the legislative commission, not always, but some of those do. So it's up to the legislature. I don't want to micromanage the education district, but I'd like to get somebody in there that will.
By the same token, Don, do you think that a lot of laws are written purposely sloppy, quite frankly, purposely vague, because legislators don't want to deal with the details, so they give enough power to the bureaucrats, and the bureaucrats take advantage of that and go running hog wild?
Well,
I think you're right.
What you have to understand there is a culture up there. And a lot of times that culture is the fact that a legislator doesn't feel like he's doing his job unless he actually gets a law passed. I'm not of that ilk. I think we should get rid of laws, not add them. But that is the culture. So a compromise will be made in many laws just so someone can have that law passed. And all of a sudden it dilutes the law completely, and the intent of the law is no longer there.
But I think the main thing, and this is the big issue here, what Mr. Plesky and I are both trying to say is that just because someone's a minor doesn't mean that they should not have the right of an attorney present before they write a statement and sign it. And I think in other cases, it just seems like our whole culture feels like our signature isn't worth anything anymore. We're just expected to sign here, sign here, sign here, sign here, without realizing the significance of that.
Well, this is kind of involved with this whole thing, again, the bureaucracy. And as Jim just said, we need to have legislators go back from time to time and revisit laws when cases like this come up. We have to give them, or they have to take advantage of the opportunity to correct omissions in statutory law when issues come up.
Okay, Mike has made his way up to the microphone. Audience member Mike, one of our actual audience members that is here all the time. Mike, you said you have a comment on this situation.
Now, you're not giving an historical perspective. I'm surprised I haven't heard the word Constitution from the conservatives here.
We've been writing it on our pad here.
Yeah, now, look, this is a subject that is, I'd like you to pull up on the computer, when was compulsory education instituted in the United States? Was it early 1920s?
1850s.
Was it that early, compulsory for everybody?
No, but then.
No, it's not.
That's when we gave the public sector took it over.
Okay, I'm talking about compulsory education, which is inherently unconstitutional, but necessary. I think all countries in the world have it. This is the issue. Once you have compulsory education, you turn it over to these teachers, this problem is inherent. It's not new. You're complaining mostly from the right-wing point of view, and I agree with you. My complaint, and I know you have some people here who live in California, most of these states used to have corporal punishment. And I'm going to assume you people, being right-wingers, love that.
There he goes
So
again.
you're allowing somebody else arbitrarily to spank your child. This is not a new issue. It involves more than curriculum. Plus, you have the Catholic school system, which is known for
That's private.
Yeah, I know, but still, coming from the east, it's a huge school system. But this is a problem. There's an inherent tension in it. I don't think anybody has an answer. I don't. But I agree. The point I want to make is it's not new. You're not giving an historical perspective. And people like Glenn always go back to the Constitution. You're not doing it here.
Greg?
Well, asking you shall receive. I did some research for you in that split second. Compulsory school attendance based on the Prussian model gradually spread to other countries, reaching the American Commonwealth of Massachusetts in 1852 and spread to other states until 1918. So it started in 1852 to 1918 when it took
And at that time there was no Department of Education.
That's
Therefore, that's why it went from state to state to state. It was not compulsory education for the United States. But we actually had a 10th Amendment that said states had sovereignty, so the states did that
I
themselves.
have no problem with this, maybe it's just that I don't understand the entire question, but If a child is in custody of juvenile authorities, that child has certain rights and cannot be interrogated or forced to do something until either a parent or somebody that is in charge of that child is there present. So is the school district exempt from all of that? Is that what we're hearing?
Yes.
Yeah,
And-
that's
and
exactly what
legally?
the school district.
So
is.
a child,
and
so a
that
child
is
in a civil
No,
situation
yeah.
has all sorts of rights, but as soon as that child enters the school grounds, the child loses all rights.
They're under a whole different set of laws,
Yeah.
which again is why my youngest son was forced to sit for 2 days in out of his actual classroom because he refused to write an apology when he didn't feel he needed to.
And actually, the way the state, I believe the state law reads is that a child, the parent does not even have to be notified as long as there's a guardian ad litem. It can be anybody representing a child, but the parent does not even have to be notified. The school or other thing outside of the house or outside with law enforcement itself. It's just a guardian ad litem in the system. The parent does not, they cannot request to be in the room when the child is interrogated.
The way that it reads is it says parental consent or either notification is generally not required for a police officer or school official to question a minor without parent's consent. The only guard you have against that is you may inform your child that he or she is not to answer any questions that they are asked by the teacher, other parent, police officer, or school officials while on school grounds. School officials can ask whatever they choose so that they can, and so can the police. However, a child by law can say, I would like to have my parent present, or like to request the attorney to be present as well.
Is that in NRS, John?
That is a part of NRS 392, which falls under pupils.
But I will say that there are instances when the children are told they're not allowed to call the parents. It happens.
Yet, by the same token, we as conservatives want our local school districts to have more power, right?
Not
So-
necessarily.
Well, I should say, take the power away from the federal government.
Some of us are libertarian conservatives.
And when we come back from break, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to move on a little bit. We should be joined by Assemblywoman Michelle Fiore, who will be joining us on the phone. We're going to talk about the Bundy Ranch situation, where it stands now, and what actually happened out there. So we'll be right back on Conversations from the Capitol.